Welcome back. So we started, or I started, a little bit of a new idea of having live chats with participants who are improving their eyesight, who are normally posting in the Facebook group or sending me emails about the improvement reports, and having actual chats to really further explore of how they got started and how they got into improving the eyesight and their journey and their experiences and how that changed their relationship with the eyes and their day-to-day and all the things that come up in questions. So we did the first one and I will have it on here. This is from Sharada, who improved from minus 3.75 to under minus one diopter, isn't wearing her glasses most of the time and seeing quite well without her glasses in natural normal daylight. Unfortunately, we ran into some technical issues, first being this guy who pushed the wrong button, so the video doesn't have both of us in it, only her, which is not totally ideal. And then there were some weird audio issues that I'm not sure what caused those. So it's a little bit rough, but I really like the story, so I'm gonna put it on here next anyway. See if you enjoy it. I'm planning to do more of these and hopefully improve as we go along and get more into sharing some of these discussions to where you have a chance to actually sort of see and quote unquote meet the person and them sharing their experience. Enjoy this one.
Okay, so basically, like I sent you in my mail, it was an eclipse day, okay? It was Jan 21st, and I was like surfing on YouTube. I was not looking to improve my eyesight or anything of that sort. At the back of
Yeah.
my mind, I always wanted to improve my eyesight, but I stumbled upon your video, one of the videos, and you used certain words like, lovely words like what? Corneal. Something and retinal detachment, and I was like very impressed. I was like, I'm using my contacts, and the eyes are not supposed to be having, the cornea is not supposed to be having something on it. And I have been using lenses since I was 14, and that got me thinking, and I kept seeing your videos on a loop. And I was like, chuck the lenses. I don't want to be wearing lenses. I don't want this kind of problems down the line. So I decided I'll try doing the active focus. So next day I got up early in the morning, and that was a first for me. I got up at 6 or something, went out for a walk. I wore my specs, which I had not been wearing, and went for the morning walk, and everything came back. And I actually started with the newspaper, like you said, to just push your eyesight a little bit, and keep just pushing till just you blink, and then the vision clears up, and the line becomes clearer. So I kept
Right.
doing that. Yeah, I kept doing that for a week. I kept going for the morning walks with the spectacles, and that is how it started off. And then I decided to go for my yearly eye examination to my eye doctor. And you want me to continue, or
Sure. No,
any
it's super
questions?
interesting. Actually, I'm enjoying this because I only ever read the story, so it's actually super interesting to hear the story.
So when I went to the doctor, I was very excited because you had mentioned that the vision should be a little blurry when you're wearing spectacles, so that when you blink, you have to focus. So when I was wearing my spectacles, the old number, it was so bright even at night. I didn't have that minus point 2.5, 0.25 that you say, to for your
Mhm.
doing that active focus. So I didn't have that. So I was like, I need to go to the doctor. I went to the doctor. I was like, could you just reduce it by 0.25? So he was very irritated with me. Like, why don't you concentrate on your, eyesight? Why do you want to, reduce numbers? Leave that to me, blah, 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 blah. So the doctor checked my eyesight. His helper checked my eyesight, and that, that balloon machine is there, that
Yeah.
automated one. Yeah, that checked my eyesight, and he reduced my number. My right eye was minus 3.75. He made it minus 3, and my left eye was minus 3.5. He made it minus 2.75. So I was like overjoyed. I was like, wow, I mean, but then I was like 0.75 in 1 week. I was like, question mark, question mark. I was like, okay, forget it, whatever. But I ordered the new spectacles, and when I wore them at night, again it was super clear. Forget active focus; it was like over bright. I didn't have any uh, like margin to do any active focus. So I went to an optician, and like you said, don't give them your number. Tell them, like you don't have the number, and just let them check your eyesight. So I did that, and he asked me, "Do you use lenses or specs, or do you have a number?" And I lied to him. I felt bad, but then I was like, I want to know what is my true number. And he tested my eyes again with the machine and everything, and this time my eyesight was -2. So this was just in the space of 1 week. Just imagine. So I was like, what's happening? Like, so I was like, okay, and he thought I had diabetes. So he's like, why don't you, do a checkup for diabetes and this? And I was like feeling a little guilty, you know. I'm not telling him the truth, but I was like, I'll take it. So I started off with -2, and then I have been like gradually reducing my number, and right now it is my right eye is -1 approximately, and the left is minus 0.75.
That's amazing. And how long since you started till this point?
January 22nd to today.
That's very quick. And for how long were you wearing the stronger glasses before then?
I was not wearing glasses. I had contacts.
Oh,
Contact
okay. I
lenses.
mean, right. Like how long were you wearing the contact lenses before?
25 years.
Wow, that's a long time. And
Yeah.
and how long did you have that last correction before you started? Has it been the same for like a number of years? Has it changed?
No, it was constant. He used to ask me, "Is it better now? Is it better now?" But he was just testing with, I think, the 0.25s. And I remember telling him, like, for the past 3-4 years, like, it doesn't make that much of a difference. So he was, and in fact, he had overprescribed me. My left eye, my right eye was supposed to be -3.5, and he had actually ordered lenses, contact lenses, which were -3.75. So I called him up last year and told him. He was like, "It's 0.25 of a difference. It doesn't make that much of a big deal." So I was like, "Okay, if it doesn't make a big deal, you're the doctor, you know best, like. And this year it was like, if 0.25 doesn't make a difference, reduce my number." So he got irritated.
Interesting, right? And so now you're still using contact lenses?
No. I have given up. I don't wear contact lenses. I used to wear specs, but since my number is so less now, I mean, and that active focus keeps happening with my eyes, like left eye, right eye, they are on their own trip, clears up, doesn't clear up. I don't wear spectacles also. I mean, at night
At all.
sometimes I wear, but otherwise, no.
And how's your vision? Do you have an eye chart printed out? Do
I
you
have
ever
your eye
check your
chart.
vision? Yeah.
I have your eye chart, but I keep going to that optician, local business and everything, encourage
Right.
them and everything. So, I mean, he does my testing and everything. Last, it was 1.25 for the right eye and -1 for the left eye. But this,
Yeah.
I feel, because I have spectacles of -0.75, so that is working for me. I can't wear it in the day. It is like too bright for me. So
Yeah.
at night I wear it if I have.
Yeah. And so on the eye chart without any glasses, how many of the lines can you see?
I can see till the third line or so.
Right.
Third, but it's if I have done active focus and stuff, and if it's well lit and everything, it keeps changing. It's not
Right.
constant.
This is working with no glasses. Like, are you recognizing people's faces on the
Yeah.
street and
Yeah.
finding your way around? Like, is there
Yeah.
any limitation at all to not wearing glasses?
I can't see people's expression. I can recognize them. I can see the body type. I can see color. I can see movement. Uh, but like the expression is the problem. Like if a person is at a distance of maybe 5 feet, 10 feet, I mean I can see their expression, but not beyond that.
Myopia. Yeah, and 5 feet, 10 feet. So in a conversation that works, right? Like you're not. Yeah. And how about other stuff like going shopping and just doing regular chores? Is there any point where you feel like you need the glasses when you're just out and about during the day?
The thing is, what happens is basically I keep staring at something and then it clears up. It is not 20/20 vision, but I can read. Now the thing is, because I can read, like it's blurry, but then what happens is I have to actively keep looking at it to make it clearer, because the eye and the brain has like sort of now, recognize, like I can basically make out, like, the signs, the wordings. So it's like part guesswork, it's, so I have to like literally make a conscious effort to keep looking at a signage or stuff like that, so that it clears up and it becomes action. Otherwise
Sure.
it's fine.
And how many reductions did you make from the original correction to where you're now? Like how many
um
steps?
so basically, because the eye was doing really well, the left eye especially, so I jumped half a diopter, you know so from -2 I went to -1.5, and then
Right.
from -1.5 to -1, and then 0.75.
That's good. I mean, if it works for you, and each one of those jumps, like how long were you on each one of those before you switched again?
So initially it was like almost every month or month and a half. Like in February, I went to this optician who said my number is -2. And then again, I did active focus, all that. And then I went in March. And March, he apologized to me. In fact, he's like, I have made a mistake. Maybe your eyesight is left eye -1.5 and right eye is -1.75. So I was like, I mean, I can't let him keep apologizing to me, because I have not told him the truth. And, I don't want to hear like, a lecture on how eyesight can't be improved, blah, blah. So I was like, no, I have diabetes. So he was like very understanding and this and that. I mean, I'm a terrible person, but like, then he was very helpful. Like, he gave me those classes, and then he was the one who suggested, don't go for the 0.25, go for the 0.5. So I was like, why don't I try? Because I'm my own guinea pig. And it was working well. But since June, like we had monsoons over here. And like this year, there was hardly any sun. So from June to about November, we had a lot of rain. And because of that, there was no sun, nothing. So I used to go to the garden and look at the green grass.
Mhm.
And I was like, maybe that will help, because I have read, and people say like grass is good and stuff. So I did that.
So you had a really easy time of it, and I'm not doing this on purpose at all. The way we actually did this, because I'm super introverted and I'm terrible at having conversations with people, but I have an admin who she does all the podcast scheduling. So I just gave her a bunch of the emails of improvement reports. I just said, find some and we'll try to have a conversation. So for those of, if we let anybody else watch this, this is definitely not, I didn't pick you specifically. This was just one where you are kind of, you people give me a hard time sometimes because I post a lot of improvement reports, and I tend to post more of the ones that are more dramatic, not because I'm trying to mislead, but because they're more exciting, right? Like I read it and I'm like, wow, this is great. And it gives me the motivation to post. And then sometimes people are like, Jake, why are you posting these ones, not the average, a diopter a year ones? And again, now you're here and you're just having, I can already see people saying things like you're picking out, cherry picking, because half diopter reductions, for a lot of people, that's too much at one time. And it sounds like you had a pretty easy time all together, right?
I did, but the thing is, I was super motivated, and it has never happened to me before. It was almost like an obsession. And the thing is, I did one, two other things which I don't know whether it works. Maybe somebody else can also try it. I look at the sun in the morning when the sun rises. So I don't know how much you have heard about Ayurveda, or if you practice, or if you have heard anything of like how it works. So that also tends to go and like to the root of the problem. So in Ayurveda they say, like the early morning sun rays are very good for the eyes. Now I don't know if it's it works or not. And the second thing which I heard was from my, again, Ayurvedic doctor. I don't know whether you should publish all this. You can maybe edit it out. So I sat in a dark room, absolutely dark room, lit a candle, okay, and I kept staring at it, like, again for an hour or two, just for the, like, to relax the eyes. So it worked for me. And this was in that 1 week before I went to the doctor. I was like super charged up. So I think most of my reduction happened there. It was from 3.75 to -2, and maybe somebody can try it, like, just check if it works.
Sure. And I personally, I like the setting sun a lot. And this is not for any, like, nobody has said this, right? And there's some Bates method stuff about something called sunning. Yeah, I know, right? But I've definitely had people say that the rising sun or the setting sun, right? Like at the very end or the very beginning. So nobody should be looking at daylight sun, right? But just the rising and setting sun. Many people have told me they find that incredibly relaxing. I've tried it. I really like it. I really, really like it. But we haven't had, there wasn't any consistent change and improvement, right? Like somebody starting at whatever, -5, and then they're not doing that. And then we're saying, hey, for the next 6 months, why don't you try the sun part? But we haven't found it making consistently enough of a difference for me to say, you need this. And I always go with the least amount of stuff possible, right? Like, it's not very salesy because people tend to like it when you make it more complicated. But I'm like, okay, if we don't really need it, then I shouldn't put it in there. But it's a good point. And I like that you bring it up. And I like that I would certainly not edit it out, because if somebody's already doing all the things that we know work and you want to try something else, right? Or you're in a space where you believe that works for you, even if it affects your attitude or if it affects your relationship with your eyes, right? Like, I've had a fair amount of people who are not improving very well. And when you talk to them, it's like, I can tell by their attitude, right? Like they're not, like, you're clearly excited about this. And it's an intangible, and I don't like really harping on it because I like to stick with things that are quantifiable and we can look at science and it makes sense. But when I talk to people and they're kind of like, they're tense and they don't have like a friendly relationship with their eyesight, or they're not excited about it, a lot of times the improvements aren't that easily forthcoming. So I feel like, and I don't talk about this that much because it goes into territories that are kind of red flags for me with the internet, but certainly the positivity and excitement and looking for other ways to like engage with your eyesight, I think are positive.
So basically, most of my improvement has come because of the active focus. There is like, you have to do active focus. The others are just like, maybe I had astigmatism, I had some axes and some other numbers also, but that also was reduced by the doctor. The first visit I went, in the 7 days after I started practicing active focus, it it really helped, because there is this signboard, and I kept staring at it, kept staring. After the, like, newspaper was like an hour or so, walking was an hour or so, and like looking at the calendar, if I can see with the left eye, with the right eye, basically with the signboard. So it was like quite a few hours I dedicated. It's so if somebody is like willing to give, like in the beginning, especially 2-3 hours, like, it can happen. I don't think, and I have abused my eyes like anything. When I used to wear contacts, I used to leave my contacts in, sleep in my contacts, bathe in my contacts, exactly. Wear makeup, not remove my makeup, and the eye makeup and everything. Yeah, I have abused my eyes. So yeah, so basically one can change. You can change your attitude, like,
Yeah. And how much do you use phones in general?
not that much, no.
No.
I gave up on Instagram, Facebook. I reduced my number of friends, the likes, all that. It was like just a distraction. I was like working on myself. Not only eyes, other aspects also. So basically, it was just a distraction. Like, I mean, this one didn't like my photo. That one, all that. This, that superficial world. No, I didn't want that. So I don't use the phone. I use it for calling or, getting calls, and I use my iPad for the YouTube thing.
Yeah, that makes a big difference. A lot of times, this is another one of the things where, like, if somebody's watching this and going, wow, that's a lot of improvement really fast. We talked about the attitude, right? Like, you clearly, and I'm even more enjoying this video format now. You're really kind of convincing me this is a good idea, because I think this doesn't translate if you write a status update on Facebook, or if I get an email saying, hey, I made a bunch of improvements. You don't get this, like, where's this coming from, right? Like, you're clearly after this. And then little things, right? Like, you don't really use the phone. That's a really hard one for people, right? Like, I was in Bangkok for a month last month, and I was on my phone constantly. And when I came back here and I put here, I never used my phone. I could feel the draw. Like, I wanted it, like, I wanted to scroll through stuff. And it took like a week or maybe 10 days to finally forget about the stupid thing. And it affects my eyesight in a positive way. And when I tell people this, I think it's important that you tell people this, like, the phone is really not an ideal thing when you're working on your eyesight. Like, this close distance is so bad for your eyes.
So what I was thinking was, like, maybe when people start with active focus, what they could do is, like, maybe for a week or two, like, give up on their gadgets, or like drastically reduce. Because I feel, maybe because it happened with me, you can check with your the other people in the group. The maximum, like, lowering of the diopter or the vision improvement, I feel, happens right in the beginning. Like, you put in good practices, start with the active focus, and it like I said, like, it can be anywhere in your bedroom. You don't have to have the eye chart. I have a calendar, there are numbers on it, so I keep staring at it until it clears up. And it's like, in this room I've got this, outside the window, there is something, in the kitchen, in the bathroom, you have these different stuff. Like, try reading, try reading, try reading. If you're watching television, like you said in one of your interviews, try reading the subtitles. So one can practice active focus. So do it for a week or two, and then see how much of a difference it can make. And once you get that vision improvement, or you get a prescription, or you get, something like, some doctor has said, okay, you have reduced your number or something, so that's a big motivation. Then you're like, okay, fine, it has reduced, so now it can only get better.
Yeah.
Maybe.
How long did it take you to figure out the active focus part?
I don't know, I think 2-3 days maybe, because you were very clear, no, when you said, take the paper, the newspaper, or any book or something, and just keep it at a distance where it is a little blurry, blink. So keep blinking, blinking, and it does come into focus. So try it with your left eye, try it with your right eye, adjust the distance, and just practice it for some time. Give it a few days, a few hours, every day. It happens.
You totally had to be on this video thing. I really think that makes the difference. People hearing it, not just from me all the time, right? Like, it's always my stupid face and my comments all the time. And I feel like it's not that it seems biased, but I think it's really helpful to have a slightly different take on it, right? And from somebody else than me, right? Like, because you're saying it, I think it's going to be a lot more convincing to people who are, like, on the fence or struggling or not really committed, because I did it a long time ago, but this is kind of what I'm doing. For you, this was you found this on YouTube, and then you said, I'm going to do this. And you did all the right stuff, right? Like, you figured out active focus, you put away your phone. And it sounds like you really, I'm actually curious about that. How much of your day is, like, actively pursuing this whole focus thing in general?
So maybe around 3-4 hours. I mean, I give it a lot, because I got a lot. It was not something, it was like a gift. I mean, I was not looking to improve my eyesight. And, there are things which happen in life, and you're like, oh God, why did this happen to me? And then there is the reversal, where we are not that positive. And if something positive happens in life, when you're not looking for it, it's like, unexpected gift from the universe. So that's my philosophy. So yeah, I was not looking to improve myself. It
An
happened.
unexpected gift from YouTube recommendations.
Exactly. I know.
That's terrible. And how has it changed? Like, this is the other thing I'm always curious about. Like, how much does that change your day-to-day life, not needing contact lenses or glasses for most things?
Uh, See, the thing is, because I used to wear lenses, I had my peripheral vision, you know,
Right. That's true.
and
Yeah.
when I used to work, like, with glasses, you feel like, little conscious, little stupid. This frame doesn't look good on me, all that. So with lenses, you just put it on and you forget about it. It was like, I could be half asleep and still wear my lenses, take out my lenses. So it's very different from, spectacles. So
True.
how much of a difference it has made, it's just like, I feel more positive. I feel like, I have done something for myself. It doesn't always have to be like, the world appreciating you have done something for yourself. So, it's like, it's not as if I'm a path breaker. I mean, you were the one who put up videos, you have done it on your own, and you're sharing this knowledge. So you gave the steps, so I just have to follow it, right? And I can, use my knowledge or my intelligence to maybe tweak it a little bit here there. But you gave the steps. Look at a paper, look at a book, look at a magazine, and then push your eyesight. That's the basic fundamental thing that you do. You keep pushing till you get, you blink and it clears up. You blink, it clears up. You blink, it clears up. So you keep doing that again and again and again.
It is super simple, right? Like, it isn't that complicated. And I keep trying to repeat that. It's like, I would not be involved in a thing if it was any more complicated than this, right? Like, there are like people out there figuring out all this crazy health stuff that is super complex. I would never be able to do it. And a lot of times people really struggle with me saying it is that simple. Like almost like people are looking for a more complicated answer, when, like, what you're saying is like active focus and reductions are really kind of the main, right? Like, your eyes will respond because your eyes are designed to adapt to the stimulus of the environment. So if you're changing the stimulus, your eyes will adapt to it, right?
And sorry, you were saying?
The contact lens thing is really interesting. So now I'm thinking, because that makes a lot of sense. It's not that big of a change if you were in contact lenses before, because you just throw them in and then they're in there. So in a way, right, it's probably not really a good idea to stick with contact lenses if you're working on this.
No, no, not at all. I don't think so, because you say now, like the vision. I mean, some days if you look at your screen and then by night time the vision is not that great. Even with the spectacles, like suppose I'm on the phone playing a game or something, okay, for 2-3 hours continuously at night. If I want to check like what's my vision with the specs and how is it, what's happening, or even if I don't wear my spec, I come to know, like, even if I blink, there's nothing happening. I can't see the clock, I can't see the dial, nothing. So it does make a difference. So
Yeah, that's interesting, because I have to say, like, I recommend against contact lenses unless you need them for something in particular. But I haven't, honestly, which is funny because almost 20 years, I have never really thought about, if you're wearing contacts, you might not be that motivated, right? Because it is a relatively small, like, you almost have the same thing. You just have to stick these things in your eyes.
yes.
I have to tell people
And
stop wearing contact. And the other thing is, and I don't know if you knew about this, but I don't like contact lenses because of the retinal thinning.
yeah,
Right, like,
you said you used the word corneal thinning. Now I remember. And I was like,
right
take
now, yeah.
out the lenses and throw it away.
The
My
corneal
doctor
thinning,
used
yeah.
to talk about, yeah,
Yeah, and that's I don't know why I was thinking retina, but and that's in enough clinical science that keeps coming up, that I've read enough of it where I'm like, and the scarring and the scratches that happen from some contact lens wear, like, that tends to go away after a while, but the thinning apparently is permanent. Like, I haven't found anything that suggests that once you stop the wear, that the thinning like reverses. So that just, those kinds of things, like, people don't tell you, right? Like, that you're
yeah.
ultimately paying a price for these contact lenses, and by the time you find out, it's like, but you can't fix it, right?
So basically, in my family, my sister, she had a number of -8. Okay, and this was when we were teenagers. She went in for that LASIK thing, the same eye doctor. My dad had cataract. My mom had beginnings of cataract. My grandfather had, what is that? Age-related macular something, degeneration or something.
Generation, yeah.
Yeah, so all of us have had some issue with the eye. So diet also plays a very big part in developing and all these type of problems later on in life. So like you say, corneal thinning, it will not happen overnight, but with the
It
lenses, of
does,
course,
yeah.
one day. Yeah, of course, it will happen one day.
Brian, all these things kind of add up to where when we need them the least, like as we get older, right? Like all the health issues happen at once or happen kind of cascadingly at the same time. Like the last thing you really need is going to the ophthalmologist, and he goes, well, you have macular degeneration and corneal thinning and lattice degeneration and all the stuff. And then by that time, it's kind of too late, right? Like for so long. And that's one of my other issues is like, people's motivation in general isn't that high. I don't know if you've talked to other people who've not been that interested, right? Because it seems like in general, people are like I can see with glasses or contact lenses and I don't care beyond that point. You notice that?
I forwarded your videos. I was like so excited. I wanted to share it with everybody and shout from the rooftops. And you had made a video about that also. People may not be as interested and everything. I was like, no, they have to be. It's like something I was waiting for all these years. People used to say, nah, it doesn't work. You can't do anything. Once your eyes are gone, it's gone. Stuff like that. So basically, I actually caught hold of people and I could see them thinking, yeah, okay, stay away from her and just move away. It's like that, and you're the only one who's pompoing and just saying, okay, you can do this, you can do this. So
yeah,
fine.
and that's
People who want to, they will, and those who don't, they will maybe later on in life. So,
yeah, and I find that curious because it's interesting you weren't even looking and you just ran into a thing and somehow it grabbed you. Where, like in real life, most people around me don't know about this endmyopia thing that I'm involved in at all. Like I never bring it up anymore. I just don't, because universally people don't care. And it kind of got me to a point at some point where I was just like, it was bringing me down. I was like you were sharing the videos, right? And not getting a response. I'm making the videos and I'm not getting a response because people are like, yeah, whatever. And so in real life, I just don't even talk about it anymore. Because also what you said, like it makes you seem a little crazy because it sounds so far-fetched, right? So A, I don't care about my eyes, and B, what is wrong with you all of a sudden with this, like, I found some internet dude, right?
why are you on this crusade, like let us be, and it's the same with my new passion. It's like intermittent fasting and stuff like that, just to get back your health. And so many people are not interested. They still believe 5 meals a day, 6 meals a day, it's okay, nothing, so it's like, yeah, one person at a time.
Right, and the intermittent fasting, like at least some people are into that. I wish myopia was as interesting to people as intermittent fasting, because for some reason that grabs people. I don't know what's different about that, because I do it too and I love it, absolutely. And you can bring that up and some people will be like, weird but interesting, right? Like I can eat once a day and not be hungry again and I actually feel better. And now I don't have to dig for food all day long. I don't, like, food's done. Like I just deal with it one time a day and it's over. And that kind of, I can sell that as selling, meaning like creating some excitement. On the other hand, saying, hey, you don't need to put those things in your eyes and you can still see perfectly fine. For whatever reason, for whatever irony, like my what did you call it? Crusade. I picked like the least interesting thing that apparently is out there, right? Like people are like, yeah, don't care.
Yeah, but there is nobody else doing it, right? So you were the first. So
Probably that's why though.
yeah, yeah.
Like even in the forum, like I don't know if, do you follow the Meow forum?
No, you said one has to have their photo, of Facebook
Oh.
on Facebook. I was like,
It can be any photo, really. It's not, I'm not that, it's just something to like what we're doing now, having a conversation. One of the things I struggle with doing the Endmyopia thing, it's so much internet time with like, there's so much interaction with abstract people, right? Like, I mean, maybe it's hard to relate, but I feel weird having so many interactions with so many people that I don't know, or I can't, like you and I are talking right now, and I don't have these conversations. It's always like type on Facebook, and it feels not right. Like I don't like it on this scale. That's the only reason I said put a picture on it, just because I'm like, it's one tiny bit of humanity in this whole scrolling of stuff, you know? But anyway, so even in the forum, the longest threads of conversations end up being about stuff like how to fix your teeth. Like apparently there's a way to get rid of like holes in your teeth. That is way more interesting to people than any of the myopia subjects in there.
Okay, I have to join this forum.
Of course.
It sounds fascinating.
And it's an interesting thread. And the other interesting thing is the guy that administers, like the main guy that deals with the forum, besides me, like, there's somebody who volunteered, who was like, hey, let me like run the forum for you, right? Like the man has a full-time job. He runs his own practice, not as an ophthalmologist or an optometrist, but he's a dentist.
Oh.
Yeah. Like out of all the people, like, and we know of quite a few optometrists and ophthalmologists, nobody has ever said, let me like take some of this over, which was kind of my dream. Like for years and years, I was like, eventually somebody will come whose job this is, and that person will go, let me do this, right? Because why should I do it? Like, I'm not the guy. But now, ironically, like a dentist is running the forum, and the most popular threads are about like diet stuff and this whole teeth stuff and just other subjects like eyesight for some reason. I don't know.
Maybe like, you know, if somebody can improve something else, maybe like, you know, their hearing or their breathing or their teeth, maybe then they'll like, you know, believe like even eyes can be fixed.
Yeah. I think it's mostly because it's close enough, because you can put on the contact lenses and the problem is solved. So I think for a lot of people, it's like, this will work, right? Like I don't have the energy to invest in a larger project for something that I already solved, even though it's not perfect, right? But I really appreciate this, because 3.5, 3.75 to under 1 diopter, and you don't really need your glasses during the day, and you're functioning well without them. I think that is a massive change, right? Like you went from having a quote unquote handicap that is enough to where if you lost your contact lenses, right? Like you wouldn't have been able to function properly, right?
I have lost my,
yeah.
I have lost my lenses and like, you know, literally, you know, search the ground, like, you know, like a blind person, like, you know, trying to find that stupid lens.
Yeah, and you need it, right? Like at that point, like that thing is totally necessary. Yeah, that's a big deal. I feel like, and I'm super happy you did that. And I guess I'm super happy that we are having this chat, kind of reconfirming, because the other thing that happens a fair amount is I get, like when people are happy, you don't hear from them a whole lot, right? Like a case like yours, it happens so much, but unless I like poke with an email, like usually people don't even mention it, right? Like I send out these emails going, how's it going? How are you doing? Because if I don't, like if your vision improves, you're like, sweet, this worked. And then you go on to the next thing. But when something isn't working for them, like they can't find active focus, then they talk, right? And then I get the emails, and then there's the Facebook posts, and then there's all this conversation. So the bias of dialogue that I get is towards when something's not working, right? Because that's when people want help or interaction. So I get a billion questions about, I can't get active focus to work. And I'm like, really? It is so simple, right? So it makes me happy to have you on and you're going, it is so simple, because that really, I think, is the more common scenario.
So basically, there are just two things anybody who's starting out should do. Is I mean, that's what I did after, you know, watching almost all your videos, was again with the book it starts out that way, because if you have really high vision, you know, a minus number, so basically, even if you are keeping your book, like, you know, I mean, whatever spectacles you're wearing, uh, like you say, you know, figure out your differentials, stuff like that, normalize all that. And then why don't you start with a book? And, you know, just, you have to invest at least 1 2 hours in the beginning. It does take time, you know. So you know, the thing is, I'll give you an example. Last year I was like, I'm not losing weight, you know. So I was walking, but where was I walking? I was walking in my house. You think I'm going to lose weight just walking in my house? I'm not
Right.
going to lose weight. So if I'm honest with myself, I know that, you know, I'm walking. If I tell this to 10 people and they'll be like, oh, okay, maybe walking doesn't work. But you have to be honest with yourself. Are you putting in the number of hours? Are you doing the method? If you're not, then don't expect results. As simple as that.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is true. And sometimes I'm not sure if I make it clear enough, because you put in the work to watch all those videos, and I apologize because I tried to rewatch some of those videos and I'm like,
No, no,
wow,
no.
that's terrible.
No.
Unscripted
They were
rambles that
no,
they
no,
are.
no,
Right?
no. They were good. They were good.
Yeah. But yeah, and you put in the time, and it's amazing progress. Like, you're almost there. Nighttime is always kind of the last thing, because any refractive error that is still there that you don't notice in good daylight, right? Like, your pupils are smaller, so you can see better. There's more contrast, you can see better. As the light goes away, you eventually hit that point where that stuff just doesn't work anymore, right? Like, active
Yeah.
focus doesn't really work anymore. Like, once it gets dark enough to where the contrast is lost and your pupils are wide open, it's like you have to wear the glasses till your vision improves so much that there isn't that little bit of an error anymore.
So
But that's
basically, what I
normal.
was thinking, I'll try with my eyes and then let you know. I was thinking of doing that light, like, you know, the yellow light, the fire, this thing in a dark room, and just see, like, you know, with contrast and everything, maybe then it should work, or, you know, maybe relax the eye, or just experiment, you know. I was thinking I'll try that, like, every day, like, you know, for an hour or so at night. Let's see.
Sure. Absolutely. You can definitely try that. And also what you're doing, right? Like, not wearing them when you don't need them, but then also recognizing when stuff just is too blurry, there is no downside to putting them on, right? Because it also gives you, your visual cortex gets that reference again of, okay, it should be this clear. And also, anytime it would otherwise just be blurry, you're getting no benefit from being in that blur, right? Like, so it's perfectly cool to put the glasses back on in those scenarios, especially when you already have good habits.
Yeah.
Right? So you don't have to punish yourself where you just go, I will never put these on again.
Yeah. Actually, I
Cool.
don't like glasses, you know. I mean, I feel like weirdo, because I don't know. I was always into contact lenses since my teens, so not used to glasses. So
Yeah.
I was very motivated to get rid of, you know, this bad vision, get back my vision, because I didn't want to wear glasses. So that was
Actually,
another
you know, my eyes are too dry for contact lenses. So I can't wear them because I don't have enough tear fluid. My tear fluid layer isn't big enough, whatever. And I actually started this whole thing because my glasses were getting so thick that I was feeling self-conscious because they made my eyes look really small. And it was just, I was a single dude and I was feeling moments of vanity and I didn't want strong glasses and I couldn't wear contact lenses. So Endmyopia may have never happened actually if I could wear contact lenses. Possibly. Right?
Yeah, I know.
Who knows? Cool. Well, I think that's a pretty good summary. Unless you have other bits to add to this, I think this is a good little condensed starting point for, oh, yes, it's been an hour almost. We've chatted.
We have managed to. Yeah.
That's awesome. So there we have it. That was the first one. As you saw, it's definitely still lacking in lots of places, but I feel like we're on to something. I think we can do these chats and I think we can have a little bit more story and insight and helpful ideas if you're just getting started or even if you're already working on improving your eyesight. If you enjoyed this one, let me know. Leave comments, suggestions, and if you did sort of think it has potential, we'll probably do some more of them, possibly as soon as next week. See you in the next one.
Meow, 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 meow.